Hello, my name is Rabbi Yeheskel Lebovic. I'm the Rabbi of Congregation Ahavath Zion in Maplewood. In this week's Parshat of Va'era, we find an amazing statement by Rabbi Ocha in chapter 10 of Medrash Rabbah. And he says, "If not for the plague of frogs, God could not have exacted retribution from the Egyptians." What could this mean? It implies that there is a special connection between Pharaoh and the frog. What could the connection be? This will be understood if we analyze the three ways in which the denial of God is professed by some nations and individuals. The least of these deniers is the one who does acknowledge God as the creator and the sustainer of life. But he believes that God granted independent power to constellations and the like, having them thus become partners with God. This misguided view will eventually lead this type of denier to idol worship. The second type of denier is the Pharaoh type. He acknowledges God as the higher power, but he denies creation. He denies God as a creator. He believes that just like God, who has no preceding cause, he too feels self-contained in his existential parameters and turf. The third type of denier is the one who completely and forcefully denies God's existence altogether. At first glance, this last type of denier is the worst of the bunch. However, the very fact that he's making such a hue and cry in his professed denial indicates that the concept of God has touched him, and he is therefore kicking about it. However, the indifference of the donkey is worse than the kicking of the bull. Indeed, Pharaoh's tacit acknowledgement of God's existence does not seem to touch him at all. God is in his corner, and he, Pharaoh, is in his corner. Now, there are three types of animals whose purpose in creation is not readily apparent. Certain insects seem superfluous, but they do possess some constructive function. Then you have the dangerous animals, such as snakes and scorpions. Some of their constructive dimensions are eventually discovered. The frog, in contrast, is neither superfluous nor dangerous. It's neither here nor there. It exists in its own private pond as the king of the puddle. This was Pharaoh, not vociferous in denial, but totally indifferent. This is actually the toughest nut to crack. This is why it was the plague of frogs which was involved in initially breaking Pharaoh's attitude. It is only God who has the power to give man the feeling of having no beginning and having no strings attached. While most of the world today is monotheistic, there are still many pharaohs left around, each king of his own puddle. But God will eventually, hopefully soon, turn around all the frogs and all the pharaohs of the world, and they will all fully acknowledge God as the creator and the only one. With the coming of Mashiach speedily in our days, Amen.